Okay, we are reading chapter 13 today in this video. I'm just going to go over real quick the characters. We've been introduced to a lot of characters recently. So, Mrs. Shannon is the H5 teacher in 5th grade. Mrs. Lovelace is the music teacher that we were introduced in chapter 11. Molly and Claire are those kind of mean girls, the ones that had to stand up in music. They keep talking about cooties. They're saying that Melody has it really easy in life because she's smart, but they are saying that Miss Catherine, who is Melody's aide, they're saying that she's giving Melody all the answers. And then we have Rose, and we know that Melody really, really likes Rose and really wants to be Rose's friend, and that's kind of our main conflict lately is Melody not having friends and wanting to fit in. And then we have Mrs. Gordon, who is the upbeat language arts teacher, and then Mr. Dimming, who is the older history teacher. So those are the main characters we've had. I hope you've been writing down a few facts about them or situations that they've been in if they haven't. I want you to go back and rewatch the videos so you can jot some of that stuff down, because my test over chapters 11 through 15 is going to involve those characters and situations, because remember, we're focusing on reading comprehension this week and we're focused on elements of plot. We haven't had a third rising action and we haven't had a climax. Chapter 13 is starting on page 113, so we're getting a little farther. And there's only one sentence that's in bold, and that is, "Penny, no," Mrs. V calls out. So that's the only thing in bold. So I'm guessing most of this chapter is going to be about Penny, the younger sibling. All right. Dragging Doodle behind her, Penny has scooted out of Mrs. V's front door and is halfway down the ramp from her porch shouting "bye-bye" from under her green baseball cap. Butterscotch, at home in our backyard, would be having a doggy fit if she could see Penny trying to bowl. It's one of those early November days that an artist would love. Red bronze leaves, bright gold sunlight, leftover summer. I don't blame Penny for trying to bowl. Mrs. V scoops her up and brings her back in the house. "Go and work," Penny pouts. "Not today, honey buns," Mrs. V says firmly as she locks the front door. Penny loves wearing hats and playing dress-up. Mom rarely buys fancy church lady hats for herself, but for Penny, she'll sometimes pick out a crazy-looking straw hat with bows and ribbons and bring it home. At home, Penny spends a crazy amount of time in front of the hall mirror with a couple of Mom's plastic necklaces hanging down almost to her shoes, a purse on each arm, and a hat tilted sideways on her head. "Gotta go work," she'll say with one hand on her hip. My dog. Who has she ever seen dressed like that going to work? Mom asks as we all crack up. "She's only 2. I'm not going to be able to afford the kid when she's old enough to go shopping on her own," Dad always says. He snaps every cute pose she makes with his cell phone camera. When Mrs. V sets Penny back down, Penny pokes her lips out, throws a doodle on the floor, and wraps both her arms around her chest. I laugh. I wish I had enough coordination to have attitude. "Here, Penny, why don't you just sit down and draw me a picture instead?" Mrs. V says, whipping out a box of crayons. Attitude forgotten. Penny grabs a handful and promptly begins to scribble all over the coloring book, as well as Mrs. V's table. "I wish I could use crayons. I'd draw a rose with a velvety red bloom and a green stem and yellow-green leaves coming from it. I can see it so clearly in my mind. But, of course, when I put a pencil or crayon in my stupid tight little fingers, all I can manage are squiggly lines. Nothing that look even close to a rose. I want to draw it for Rose. She has rose designs on her notebook and book bag. I don't know where her mother finds such cool stuff. Rose's name really fits her. She's pretty and delicate and nice to be around. And if she has thorns like real roses do, I've never noticed." While Penny is busy with her crayons, Mrs. V checks her mail. She opens several envelopes, then gasps with surprise. "Guess what, girls?" she exclaims. "I've won a contest." I look at her with interest. Penny continues to scribble, ignoring both of us. I entered an essay contest at the bookstore in the mall, she explains to me. The topic was why fish are important in our world ecology. I point to food on my board and smirk. No, silly, she reaches over and tickles me. I wrote something about oceans and the balance of nature. I don't honestly remember what I said, but I won first prize, a trip for 6 to the new downtown aquarium. All expenses paid. Stupendous. I've seen the commercials on television for the aquarium. It's supposed to have sharks and turtles and penguins and a million other sea animals. Go? Question mark, I asked by pointing on my board. Well, besides me, I don't know who else to take, she says, scratching her head and grinning. I kick my foot, straps loose. Me, I want to scream instead of, I point to myself. Who could I take, Mrs. V teases, looking around the kitchen. I can tell she's trying hard not to laugh. Me, I jab. Well, of course I'll take you, Mellow Yellow, Mrs. V says, smiling. Just think of all the new words we'll gather. I'm going to write down the names of every single fish for you to learn. I slap my head, pretending to be upset. So if I take you and Penny, your mom and dad and me, that's 5. I wonder who else we could take. She scrunches up her face, thinking. All right, who do you think Melody is going to say that she wants to come? I know immediately. Rose could go with us. I spell out her name. R-O-S-E. And again, R-O-S-E. Then I hit please. Your friend Rose from school? I buck and kick with excitement. I think that's a great idea, Melody. I'll ask your parents and her parents, and if she's willing, we'll have a wonderful day. I can't stop kicking my feet. It takes several weeks before both mom and dad are off work on Saturday, but Thanksgiving weekend ends up working out for everybody. I have trouble sleeping the night before. Rose's parents seem really nice from what I could tell from listening to Mom's end of the conversation. I couldn't believe Rose wanted to come. She wanted to come with me, the kid in the chair. At school, Rose whispered with me about the trip, just like I'd seen other kids do when they have secrets. I felt like a real girl. Now that Saturday is finally here. We all pile into our SUV early in the morning. All right, I'm just going to pause real quick because I just have this feeling that something's going to go wrong and Melody's going to have a fit or something and then think Rose doesn't like her. I don't know. That's what I think. Maybe you guys think something different. I want you to predict what you think is going to happen. But I'll move on. Even though the weather has turned pretty chilly, I made sure Mom put a really nice outfit on me. Cute jeans and no sweats. Rose hasn't said anything about what I'm wearing, but she keeps cooing over Penny. Your sister is so adorable, Melody, Rose says. I smile and nod. Penny reaches out her chubby little hands and claps. Woo, see, she says. I think she said my name, Rose exclaims. Your sister is not only cute, she's a genius. As we drive, Rose chatters with my parents and Mrs. V like she knows them all her life. I watch it all silently, thinking this has to be the best day of my life. When we get to the aquarium, Dad unloads my chair and eases me into it, while Mom gets Penny's stroller out and straps her in. Rose pushes Penny as Mom pushes me, so we can be side by side. The place is crowded, I guess because it's a holiday weekend. Nobody pays attention to me, which is perfect. I can almost forget who I am. Inside, fish tanks go from floor to ceiling. I think of Ollie. He might have been happy here. In one tank, sharks swim overhead, just like we're actually looking up from the ocean floor. Okay, so Ollie might not have been so happy in that tank. I've never seen so many fish from all over the world, it seems. Fish with spikes and spots, fish with markings so beautiful they looked painting. Penny slaps at the glass whenever a fish comes close. Fishies, more fishies! Mrs. V, as promised, writes down names of species and takes pictures so I can remember when we get back home. Mom and Dad whisper together like teenagers. I've never seen them so relaxed. We stop in front of every tank. I love the jellyfish, which reminds me of streams of shiny cloth, and the lionfish, which really do look a lot like swimming lions. At the seahorse tank, Rose observes that their heads point backwards. She seems to be having a great time. Then, from around the corner come the 2 people I'd least want to run into, Molly and Claire. They are with the Girl Scouts troop. They're fake bumping into each other, not paying much attention to their group leader, who is telling them about the percentage of salt found in the ocean water. Molly and Claire, dressed exactly alike in jeans, long-sleeve t-shirts, and scout vests, look at Rose with surprise. Hey, Rose, you here with your mom? Claire asks. No, Rose says evasively, walking away from us and towards them. Your dad? Molly says, looking at me like I smell bad, and she's acting like my parents are invisible. I'm here with Melody and her family, Rose mumbles. On purpose? Claire shrieks. Both she and Molly start laughing loudly. It's not so bad, Rose says quietly, but I heard her. Mom starts to say something to the girls, but Dad takes her arm. They're children, he tells her. Let them work it out themselves. Mom has those daggers in her eyes, the sharp points she shoots at people who say dumb things about me, but she stays quiet. Her fists are balled. Mrs. V, however, isn't going to let anybody stop her. From her almost 6-foot height, she towers over Molly and Claire. You, girl with braces on her teeth. Claire looks up at her, stunned. Yes, ma'am, Claire has sense enough to say. Why do you think your parents spent good money getting you braces? Huh? Claire looks confused. Molly has quietly disappeared into her scout troop. Your teeth were imperfect, so your parents got you braces. One day you'll thank them when you get a date for the prom, Mrs. V roars. The whole scout troop, plus a few other visitors to the aquarium, stop to listen to her. What do my teeth have to do with anything? Claire asks, looking around nervously. Some people get braces on their teeth. Some get braces on their legs. For others, braces won't work, so they need wheelchairs and walkers and such. You're a lucky girl that you only had messed up teeth. Remember that. Yes, ma'am, Claire says again. Then she scurries off to join her friends. Rose walks back to us, a little embarrassed, I think. Claire can be clueless, she whispers to me. Ya think? After a few more tanks, Penny gets tired and starts to whine, so we leave the aquarium before we even get to see the penguins. We take Rose home, and she thanks us, properly, and says she had a real good time. But did she? All right, that was a quick chapter. Sorry, it's dark in here. It's 8 o'clock. So I had a suspicion that something was going to be wrong on their trip. So I want us to think about, so this is the last one for this week. So whether you're listening to this chapter on Monday or whether you're listening to it on Friday, I want you to think about what chapter 14 is going to be about. Do you think at school Rose is going to ignore Melody, or do you think their friendship's going to be stronger? I think Melody is feeling really self-conscious because Rose wasn't like, yeah, I'm here with my best friend, Melody, right? She was quiet. She didn't really want any attention drawn to her. So I just want you to think and do a little prediction on your notes what you think is going to happen in chapter 14 with Melody and Rose's friendship. All right, that's all for this week. Next week, I will read chapters 15 and 16. Next week, I'll read chapters 14 and 15. And then we'll have a quiz over chapters 11 through 15. If you have any questions, or your parents have questions, or anyone has questions, email me, comment on Google Classroom. We can set up a virtual chat. Like I said, the goal for this week is positivity. Moving forward, we're all going to pass. We're trying not to be stress-free. So, all right. See you guys later.